Hi sunshines, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how you can find a job after you finish junior college, basically JC in Singapore. Should you be watching this as a freshly graduated JC kid, congrats! First of all, I'm just really proud of you. I know that A-levels was not easy shit, but you made it through and I am just so proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself too. So I'm basically gonna go through 3 ways which you can get employed even as a JC kid with not much experience. This is based on my own personal experience finding work after A-levels. I won't cover much on what the job does because I don't want this video to get too long, but I want to talk more about how you can access the opportunities to get these types of jobs. And also I want to touch on the pay scale of these jobs so that you know better what you're getting yourself into and you hopefully don't get lowballed for your services. The first type of job that I'll talk about is one of the most common, if not the most common kind of job you can get yourself into, and that is being a part-timer in the F&B or the services industries like banqueting. Retail is also another one. All these are pretty readily available, I'd say, in Singapore, more so than others depending on what location you're in, but we'll get more into that later. Some of the plus points of doing F&B is definitely its flexibility. Most places probably allow you to choose like a selection of what days you're most free, and also within that what time slots you prefer to work. So would you want to come in and do opening until afternoon, or maybe like mid-afternoon till closing, or if you're really hustling that day, do from morning all the way till night. So it's a bit more to your schedule instead of fitting your schedule around the job itself. And it allows you to still have, you know, your own life outside of being a part-timer, and you can use that time to build your own hobbies or interests, or really just like have a social life. So how do you go about finding jobs in F&B? For me, what I did was I was passing by a mall that is really near my house, and I happened to see that one of their new restaurants were looking to hire part-timers and full-timers. And usually F&B stalls, I feel like a lot of them just have these notices up on their displays, and it can just be like a simple A4 paper with the words like looking to hire part-timers. Then it'll have like a number for you to text or call. So that one's a bit more informal. I think for me, since I was in the area and wanted to experience working F&B, I just messaged the number and then they slotted me in quite quickly since it was a new place and they wanted to look for like a steady base of staff. So that's my number 1 tip for looking for part-time jobs in F&B. I think the best way would be to walk around your area and see what stores or what shops are expanding their team. And even if they don't have an obvious sign, you could just try to find their page on social media, or even if they have like a contact, and just call them to ask if they're opening up any part-time roles or if they need any extra help, because you never know if they were planning to expand anyway, and since you've messaged them first and reached out, then they know they already have like a person in mind should they want to hire again in the future. And a plus point to that is that you've already scouted the places that are close to your home, because for me personally, location was really important in deciding where I worked, at least for F&B, which I wanted to be flexible, but I just really wanted it to be close to my home so that I didn't have the added burden of traveling and like that traveling time to the place of work. So you can try the second method if, say, your home area doesn't have many like food stores or like cafes or restaurants. Then I'd say like no choice, you do have to expand your search location a little. What you can do is go on like Facebook pages or Telegram groups that are specifically for ad hoc jobs or for part-time roles. If the restaurant is looking for like temp helps, they will post a listing there and you can contact them directly. The third way where you can get a job in F&B is also through friends' recommendations or referrals. I quite like this method because it means that your friend has basically already vetted the place for you, unless they're being exploited. So make sure you do your checks on the place first as well. But yeah, at least you have a friend who is already working there, and plus points if you can, even take shifts together. It really makes working more fun when you have people that you can vibe with, can just generally have fun with, even though sometimes it can get stressful, which is the case for F&B, especially during peak periods. So the pay scale for F&B, I think you can expect anywhere between $8 to $12 an hour. In my opinion, don't go below $8. And if you do want to go to the higher end, like $10 or more, I don't think fast food restaurants are your game, and you should probably aim for a more posh cafe, maybe in CBD or nearer town. But do note that having this higher per hour pay might be commensurate to the service that you're expected to bring. So if you earn higher and the environment is also a bit more rigid, more catered towards posh people, then maybe you will be expected to be more polite and really smile and greet every customer properly, that kind of thing. For F&B, you will usually get 1.5 times to OT. If you're lucky, it will also be higher on weekends, and double to even triple on public holidays. It's a good way to really rake in the bucks if you are willing to sacrifice certain days like weekends, or if the public holidays doesn't really mean anything to you, then why not just go for it. The second type of jobs that I'll go into is office jobs. Obviously, these are quite different from F&B or service industry. I think the plus points would be that the environment is definitely a lot more comfortable, cushy office living with aircon, proper chairs, tables. You're not standing up all the time, and you're not interacting with customers or clients all the time either. It's not a front house job. Similarly, the drawback would be that the schedule will not be as flexible. It will probably require to be in office during the weekday and during normal office hours, and you can't just pick and choose whatever times that you want to go to office and work. Although I have to say it might be different now that a lot of things are work from home, but if by this time it has gone back to normal, then you will be expected to be in office a lot of the time. I got my office job doing admin for this kind of tech importing-exporting company through a recruitment agency, specifically Recruit Express. Now, I know this is probably a little bit controversial. Some people really do not like to use recruitment agencies, and that's completely fine. I think their concern is that recruitment agencies kind of work on commission. They might not have your best interest in heart. So I kind of agree. However, I would just put it out there that my experience with Recruitment Express actually wasn't too bad. My agent got me a job pretty fast because my priority at that time was to just get employed. I honestly didn't really care too much about where or how much, as long as it met the baseline requirements, and I just wanted to get employed super fast. So he got me a job within a week or two of contacting. Yeah, it was doing admin for this company, which required me to go in for 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. If you're not willing to go through a recruitment agency, same as F&B and service industries or sectors, you can try going to ad hoc Facebook pages or temporary job Facebook pages, because it isn't exactly part-time, but it is temporary. You'll probably only work for a couple of months, 3 months, 6 months, around the same length as an internship. If you do go through the self-source route, you won't have to do the timesheets that the recruitment agency will give you, and you have to physically hand to them. I'm not sure if they shifted to online, but when I was doing it, I had to fill in physical timesheets and pass it to the office at the end of every month. And you won't be giving that commission from your salary to the agency, so there's a possibility that you could earn more. I think of it as the money that I was giving to the agency is the fee for them finding the job for me. For the salary wise, I got around $1,000 per month for this full-time admin work, which was did not require a lot of technical skills, more perseverance. It was very rote, very repetitive, but someone had to do it, and it was gonna be the admin assistant. I would say I think 1,000 is a pretty good amount. Maybe if you really just want something to bite your time with and to earn a little extra money, 800 to like 1,000 too. I can't imagine any company paying more, like much more than 1,000 for a JC kid who's doing like admin tasks. Just do take note that they will have to give you CPF, so you definitely should be getting CPF into your, I don't know what the account is called, but you should be getting CPF in your SingPass. That will also decrease the amount of your take-home pay. So even though on paper I was earning $1,000, my take-home was around like 800. But because I did it for really, really long, I managed to save up quite a bit from this admin job. The third and final type of job that I'll be talking about is internships. I'll be frank and say that internships are one of the most difficult types of jobs to get after JC if you don't have any connections, and you really need to be super resourceful if you don't have like an easy path to one, or you need to know really specifically what you want and you are able to market yourself really well, or you have some kind of specialized skill that you can build on in order to show that you want this and that you can contribute some value back to it. Plainly put, companies are not going to want junior college kids because like a lot of us don't have specialized skills in particular industries. Like what we have are very general subject-based skills in science, math, or the arts. And so it might take more for them to train and onboard a JC kid rather than taking like a uni kid or a fresh grad to do their work. Therefore, it's quite difficult to get an internship, but it's not impossible. For connections, I know that some people definitely have it easier, but what you need to do is really just ask around. You never know, someone that you might have a connection with could have like a foot in the company that you want to go to. Really just, it doesn't hurt to ask your friends or some of your family if they have a chance of getting you to somewhere that you already have an idea of like where you want to head into. So for me, because I've always been interested in writing and I wanted to experience a real writing role, I had a very close friend in church who was able to introduce me to her relative who had a role within Singapore Press Holdings, which is state media, and I was really interested to try reporting. So that contact was able to get me a test to evaluate whether I was suitable enough to join the SPH team as like a writer / reporter. I don't think it guaranteed me the role, like it was definitely not that, but having this contact helped me to get in touch like directly with HR, so it skipped a lot of like the, I would say like maybe bureaucratic processes or like the official channels, which would take very, very long, and it got me right to the point of the test where I could have the chance to be considered whether I could work in SPH or not. So I passed the test and I was able to work at the new paper as an intern reporter in the lifestyle department, alongside other poly interns which are doing their internship through like the official poly channel, and also like scholarship applicants, so they had applied to be considered for the SPH scholarship. I definitely acknowledge that I'm really, really blessed and lucky to have gotten that opportunity and to have that connection, and it won't come easy to people who don't like have that direct link. But don't be afraid to ask people that you think might be able to help you. Do it politely, do it respectfully. Who knows, they might be able to like help you get through that door. Or you can also try opening up a LinkedIn, creating your profile early, and then cold messaging people who are in the firms and the companies and industries that you want. Because, you know, people like to talk about themselves. So if you frame it as a JC kid who just wants to learn about the industry and to see whether there are any opportunities whatsoever where you can contribute back to, then I honestly think people would be willing to respond to it, and there's more impetus to reply to like a genuine question and a genuine want to learn more about the field in general. For office jobs and internships, it is a must to have a resume, even though I know it's kind of stupid to have a resume as a JC kid. Like honestly, I mean, unless you damn zai or what lah, but I was a very, very mediocre JC kid and I feel like I had nothing to put in my resume at all. But I guess you can try talking to your career guidance counselor about this before you graduate. If not, there are like a ton of advice that you can follow from Google. I think I googled like post-college or post-high school resume template, that kind of thing, and there are a lot of guides that you can find just to help you pad up your resume and make it look good. So don't worry that just because you're from JC, therefore your resume is confirmed gonna look bad. If people are looking to hire JC kids in the first place, they are well aware that not all of us are gonna have working experience already. So you will be putting like your school information on your resume, and that's completely okay. You just need to know how to work it to your advantage. I do not think that you'll get paid very much. In my experience, I was paid around $500 a month, and that's quite little compared to, let's say, working full-time admin as previously mentioned, or even doing F&B more regularly 4 to 5 times a week and on weekends / public holidays. I don't think that doing an internship would be necessarily more lucrative than doing a part-time or office job. And that's why personally I wanted to earn a little bit more, so I was doing my F&B at Carl's Jr. at the same time as doing my office job and my internship at SPH. I would be working F&B on the weekends, either Saturday and Sunday or just one, depending on how pooped I was, and then full-time weekday to whichever job that was happening. It may be a little bit more unorthodox, but it really just depends on your limits and your boundaries. Nothing wrong with just, you know, holding one job and doing it well. I really don't regret it. I think all these 3 opportunities really helped me grow before getting into uni, and yeah, it gave me that extra income which I really wanted to have savings before starting a new chapter of my life. So that's it for today's video. I hoped it helped you gain some insight as to how you can possibly get employed after JC. Believe in your worth, be confident in yourself, know what you can ask for, and don't be afraid to ask for it. Hope that you take a break first before starting work. Honestly, just take a break and go easy on yourself, and all the best in your job search journey. That's it for today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!